Hello, this is Dan from Freedom Forest, and today I'm going to be showing you some of the jobs we've got upcoming over winter. So this is going to be just a little vlog type video showing you some of the bits we've got coming up and jobs to do. Quite an exciting time actually, because me and Laurie are both gardeners. It's our primary income, and this time of year, coming to the end of November, beginning of December time, we start to have a lot of more free time in our diary to really get on top of jobs here at Freedom Forest and make some progress, because most of the summertime is spent just maintaining and keeping things tidy really. So let's check it out. What's going on? So I've got this small bed I created last year directly on top of the grass. So in here, being no dig, I will be just basically cutting these corn stalks off. I won't be pulling them out, digging anything around, just cut them off and leave the roots to rot down in the soil and feed all the microorganisms down there. Other than that, there isn't really much to do here. So moving on, as you can see, the colour of the autumn foliage is absolutely beautiful. Still some leaves hanging on to the oak trees there, but a lot of the others have fallen now, like the sweet chestnut and those. So coming down into our food forest here, which I believe all of the trees here are on their second full season in the ground now, and they were all bought as bare roots. We've got all sorts of apples, pears, plums, persimmons, you name it really, with big clumps of different types of raspberries here, autumn, summer fruiting varieties. The autumn fruiting ones, which we have along here, they do actually produce a early crop if you don't prune them back, but probably will be having a bit of tidy because they've kind of spread and they're all joining together now. So I may dig some up and move some around to other places. My favourite is the full gold variety, which is the yellow ones, and they're stunning. See, the quince tree here actually is holding on to its leaves again very well. They seem to stay on a lot longer than a lot of the other trees. Got a lot of blueberries here, a lot of gooseberries, and then down the bottom there, currants are dotted around. Hard to see them all here, but they are all labelled. I purchased these aluminium labels last year with a kind of little engraver as well, like an engraver pen. You just put batteries in. I thought it would be a great idea to use metal ones, but as you can see, these were the best ones I can find, but actually they've got kind of like a little bit of, I'm not sure if it's cardboard or cork or something in the middle, and actually they're really, really flimsy, as you can see. They're just kind of starting to fall apart already. So one of my jobs for winter as well is I've bought a big sheet of aluminium, several millimetre thick, so I'm going to be cutting that into small little label sized squares, and I've got a new slightly heavy dutier engraver pen to label those up, because a lot of them have blown off already, and I really would like to keep track of exactly what varieties we've got here. And I've got quite into grafting as well over the last couple of years, so it'll be nice to know, for long term, so I can tell people and just remember for myself what's on each tree. Still got a beautiful little calendula still going here. And these do often flower throughout the whole winter for us here and remain evergreen if we don't get too brutal frosts. We've spent quite a lot of time weeding in here as well over the last month or so, because it has got really bad over winter, unfortunately, and there's still some work here to do with the absolute nemesis of this place, which is sheep sorrel. It's unbelievable stuff. It's basically spreads worse than anything else I've seen, worse than bindweed, or couch grass. Literally in one season, you know, it's come in from out there under the hedge, and this now, even though it's stopped here, if I pulled around in here, its tendrils would still go out to about here, ready to come up in spring. And yeah, it's pretty relentless stuff. So really want to try and get in and get the worst out as we can this season. It's hard really to see here, but these little stringy roots go absolutely everywhere and they're a nightmare. So definitely want to stop that. But we're starting to realise long term actually that it's a battle that I don't think we're going to win. So what I'm thinking long term into the future is using evergreen ground covers on top of all of our wood chip mulches to stop the kind of invasive species we already have here that are just constantly creeping in. Because the whole boundary is surrounded by evergreen laurel, which in time will hopefully stop a vast majority of kind of seeds that blow in a bit from the grass areas. But yeah, things that are already here, like the sheep sorrel, are very difficult. So I put in some strawberries here last year, only about 6 or 7, and you can see they're becoming a nice ground cover. They're evergreen as well. And they also provide you with an edible crop. So going to be just dotting them everywhere, and then just going to have the floor eventually as a sea of strawberries, which will hopefully be able to smother out some of that sorrel. And of course a winter formative prune of all the fruit trees will be coming up as well. Keep them going strong. Here we've got one solitary persimmon, which is starting to get a little bit soft now, so it's coming to ripeness. Quite disappointed though actually, because both of these persimmon trees, there's one here and one just over there, they were actually the only trees that I've got that were pot grown, and I think they were from Sutton's, and yeah, no good really whatsoever. They just haven't really established and they're kind of just given up. So I've got a few root layers here to try and get those to root, and then I can replant these and they should be more vigorous. The one over here, yeah, didn't even fruit this year, but it has put up 3 really nice strong, they're not suckers because they're from above the graft, so they will be the named variety, but I'm taking 2 of those as well as air layers to replant elsewhere, and then eventually I might just cut these off completely and then let this third stronger one here regrow as the main tree, because they just haven't got any vigour. They haven't done anything this year. So yeah, lesson learned in not buying pot grown large trees. So this is the top section of the food forest, and along here we have a lot of kind of herbaceous perennials. There's mints, all different varieties of mint in here, a lot more calendula. I'm going to be using that as a ground cover as well, because it not only it's beautiful, but it spreads quite nicely here. Got some kales, some strawberries that are still trying to flower here. Okay, and moving on to the next section up from the food forest, we have where I grew the main bulk of the T65 sweet potatoes this year, and some of our pink fir normal potatoes, and all of our Yacon. So let's check it out. Okay, so if you saw the recent sweet potato video, this is where they were, and just to this side was where one of the beds of the normal potatoes. All along here is Yacon, which will be starting to pull up soon. As you can see here is our growing tips for next season, and then the tops of some of the tubers down here. Delicious. Canna musifolia, which need to be cut back and mulched heavily to protect them from the frosts. Again along here, got more cannas, Canna Alstani, these ones, which are beautiful. As you can see, they've been hit back by the frost a little bit now though, so again I'll cut those back and I just literally throw the mulch back on top of them. Sorry, the foliage, I cut it up and chuck it back on top as a mulch. Then here are some more cannas that I've propagated from seed, so I must get those in, as they're quite small actually, just into the polytunnel just to protect those. And then moving on from there into the next section, we have our main beds up here. And again, a bit of a similar story. Everything just needs a really good weed and tidy up. This entire bed all the way along here are different varieties of cannas, which are lovely ornamental plants, very tropical looking, which I divide up for stock, for providing to customers, just because I love them actually, more than anything else. Got some gingers along here, various types, and then tons of miscanthus grass, again, which I dig up when people want them out and divide them into loads of little sections, and that's actually going to be, I'm going to be planting a large area of them for thatching, to make our own thatched little shelters and stuff in the future, which is quite cool. The job that I have to do today, which is quite a sad day, is to cut these bananas, all the foliage off them, and wrap them up, because they're doing well still, but if we do get temperatures below -2, that will unfortunately kill off the stems. It won't completely kill the plants, they will regrow again from the ground next year, but if I wrap these, the stems will remain until next season, and we can start off exactly where we are, and they'll just keep getting bigger, which is fantastic. And plenty of new babies down here as well. And when these get to about 1.5 foot tall, you can divide them off and replant them to make more clumps, which is pretty cool. And they're kind of protected by this hedge here, which is good. But still, we do get the odd couple of nights where we do drop down to -5 here, so that's a job really. I do want to preserve these ones, though I have got others which are actually under eucalyptus trees that I don't need to protect at all, which is brilliant. We've got another bed up here, again, same kind of thing, just needs a good winter tidy up and weeding. And up here, this is one of Laurie's kind of more wild beds, where just letting things self-seed and, you know, minimal maintenance really. So, and with a lot of the chard up here and all the calendula and a lot of the carrots, they just regrow from year to year by leaving a few to seed and drop their seeds. So it's quite a cool little area, minimal maintenance. But as you can see, where we haven't added a fresh mulch of wood chips for a few years, are starting to get some weeds coming in, but you know, they're very easy to pull out, so it's no big deal. If I get round to it over the winter, it would be nice to remulch that bed as well, of just another inch or so of wood chips. Coming back down through the bananas. So if we go and have a look again at the main beds up here, because one particular end of it over here is quite bad actually, because I haven't really been able to do any maintenance this year. I've been so busy. So let's have a look here. So we've got a large patch of Albion ever-bearing strawberries here, which, as you can see, the runners have come out. These were defined, free defined beds here, but they've just taken up all the paths in between. So we're going to be using this for all of the stock to go and plant them down in the food forest, dot them around everywhere, just to cover everything in this kind of evergreen ground cover. Still got the remains of our blue Hopi corn here. Again, we'll just cut the stems off about 1 inch above soil level and leave the roots in. Here, this may be something you know or don't know. You might be thinking it's nasturtium, and you are correct in a sense, but this is called Mashua, and again it's from the, I believe, the Andes kind of region, and it's a beautiful tuber crop, climber, and you can eat the leaves the same as you can with nasturtium, but you get provided with these stunning, slightly almost peppery when raw, because you can eat them raw, tubers, which are beautiful, really good ground cover plant. You don't have to have them climbing up a pole, you can just let them run along the floor and they will pretty much smother out most things. And all of these stems you see along here are Jerusalem artichokes. Again, another amazing, hardy, really easy tuber crop, which you can leave in the ground all year round. You don't have to rush to harvest them all because they won't get damaged by the frosts. A little one down here somewhere. Oh, there we go. You go, and these are kind of something that you may wish to try and contain a bit, because the first year I pulled up a plant expecting all the tubers to be just at the base, but they actually run along. So even though the stem's here, the tubers might extend right out as far as that from the main plant. And then you never find them all. I didn't believe people when they said that at first, but this year they were coming up like right out to the side of the bed. So I found everything I could and planted them in a long strip along here again. But yeah, so easy, no pests or problems, and delicious. You can eat them raw. They actually, me and Laurie think they actually taste a bit like coconut raw, believe it or not. Quite amazing. And they've almost become like a staple food for us now, actually. And there's loads of myth about making you fart, and maybe they do a little bit at first, but no, for us it hasn't been a problem. So if we wander down now to the newest portion of Freedom Forest, which is kind of an extra addition we managed to purchase off our nearest neighbour. I think it was just over a year ago now, and completely overgrown, about 6 to 7 foot, with bramble, gorse and all sorts of native willow trees and things like that. So I've been in the process of clearing this in our spare time, which is why I haven't had so much time to keep on top of a lot of the jobs I should have been doing. So this had about 15 polytunnels on originally. We're just keeping 3 of them and recovering those. The rest of them going to be using some of the old framework for like beam supports and things like that, and then the rest of it we'll just take to the scrapyard and maybe try and get a bit of money back for the metal. So on this bit we've got the net house and the tunnel that we've recovered so far, and along this section here is going to be another big net house for all of the blueberries and the gooseberries, which got completely stripped by the birds again for the 2nd year in a row this year, which is quite disheartening, because, you know, you think we'll leave some for the birds, you know, let everything have its fair share, but unfortunately they do just, here anyway, just strip absolutely everything off and leave you with nothing. So yeah, we're going to have to do that, unfortunately. So coming into the tunnel here, it's looking a lot barer now than you would have seen in some of our earlier videos throughout the spring and summer. We've just got some chilies here. We're going to be trying to overwinter, putting some fleece on some and leaving some others exposed, and see if they're able to make it through the winter or not. All the tomatoes are along here, which are out now, and all the strings tied up. Along here we have one of my favourite new plants, which are the Cape gooseberries from South Africa, and they've been going like crazy. I grew these from seed in the spring, and they've been flowering and producing fruit from midsummer onwards all the way till now, and they're still going. And as you can see, there's still tons of fruit on these, which appears to still be ripening as well. And they grow in these really cool, like little, they're almost like some kind of Christmas decoration or something. And they go kind of a browner colour and dry out, and they are stunning. So they look like mini tomatoes. They don't taste like tomatoes, they're kind of like a sweet but like tangy, not tangy in a bitter way, but yeah, they're definitely more of a fruit. I know tomatoes are fruit, but really nice. And I've actually been experimenting in how we can use them other than just wandering around and eating 4 or 5 at a time. And I've been putting them in salad dressings actually, chopping them really fine, even putting them in things like Thai curries, and really versatile. And as you can see, they just extend the season much further than normal tomatoes. And the best part is they're perennial as well. So we just cut these back to take some of the straggly foliage off in a month or so when they've finished, and yeah, they're for next year, ready to go. Something very exciting behind all of these Cape gooseberries and these holes here, which you can just see some of the foliage I've been stripping back, is all of our indoor sweet potatoes, which are going to be probably one of our next videos coming up after this one. We've got all sorts of different varieties in here, different to which I grew outside as well in the previous video, so very much looking forward to showing you these. So the question of the day is, I'd love to hear as well what you guys are up to in your gardens, what jobs you've got coming on over the next few months, and any projects as well you're planning. Always be good to hear. And if anyone else has any other ideas of potentially other ground covers that we could use here to smother out the all the kind of perennial weeds that we have, especially that sheep sorrel, which is only a very low growing thing. So if you've got any other cool ideas, it'd be great to hear from you in the comment section. Going to leave it as that for today, for this little vlog video, and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Peace and plants.